Anyway, hello, welcome to our next session. Yeah, there. So the marvelously mysterious, magnificent, Marky modeled monthly assessment. Every time I thought of the name, I just added another adjective that began with M, which is why it has six M's. Anyway, we have a session motivator this time, unlike last time, because I forgot. Hi, guys.
What the fuck? Bakit? Jesus Christ. I'm leaving this call. No! Brad, you better move that into the next slide.
Anyway, welcome to Debate Society, brought to you by the kindred spirit, Kuya Marky. I skip ito. Anyway, Kuya Marky, you can begin.
Paano yung naging motivator, Brad? So, like, just answer me. Just give me a good, clear answer. How did it motivate you?
If the session doesn't go well, I will repeat it. That's the motivation.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, fine. Whatever. Okay. So, okay, just to formally start. Hi guys. So again, hello. I'm Marky. You might have noticed that I may not be at my home right now. I'm actually at an Airbnb. I'm on vacation mode because it was my birthday and I've been tired with work. So that is why I also modified today's session because I don't have my laptop with me, so I can't really like do work right now. So that's one of the reasons. And number two is that I felt that it was, oh yeah, it is giving beach vibes. Yes. All the thing. And my Pokemon sweater. Yes. Completing the vibe. So, ayun. So, but secondly, the reason why I wanted to call a monthly assessment is also because um, we've been having a consistent number naman of like members attending our sessions. It's always been 35 members minimum always attending our sessions. In comparison to no, it's not a flex, Jesus Christ. It's well actually today I think today is like our least number of people coming in. So we're only around how many are we? Pero ayun. So the reason why I wanted to call this monthly assessment as well is to also get a gauge and assessment of like where are we right now. And as I already guys mentioned, as I mentioned kanina, a few days ago, I wanted to ask you guys personally, like how did you feel and like how do you feel about the current setup of training? How do you feel about when do we do training, how it's being done, the exercise that we do for our training, what do you like, what do you don't like. So today is just really just an informal session to get all of those feelings and opinions and concerns out because moving forward, as you guys have noticed with the previous session, it was super heavy. So we did an introduction on parliamentary debate and it got from 0 to 100 really quick. So I want to make sure that moving forward, it's not going to be super hard and super um, unsustainable for you guys when we do training together. So ayun, so it's not I think we're gonna end earlier than 4 p.m. naman. So it's really just me asking you guys questions on how do you feel about the training program and then we'll make these adjustments afterwards. So I guess like just as a legit social session motivator in comparison to Braille. Let's start first with an icebreaker because Braille sucks at making icebreakers. So The game is very simple. I'm pretty sure that everyone in this call has played it before. But we're gonna play a game of Bring Me. Oh, diba? So creative. So, ano, so, fun in comparison to having a super how to bring items in the car. Well, we're gonna find a way to, you know, to make it accommodating enough for you, who's someone in the car right now. All right. So hmm, I literally thought of this icebreaker 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to think. I have to think of a prompt here. Okay. So our first item: bring me something you could not live without. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm just gonna randomly call out someone, and then I'm just going to, you can turn on your camera, or you can just keep it off, but you guys have to describe to me what you're holding. Like, I'm just gonna put my faith on you guys that you did do it. Na bring me nga kayo. Sige, Brel, go. What did you bring? Turn on my camera mo because I want to see you suffer.
Anyway, I brought my paper and pen dahil kasi pretty much every plan ko I always begins on paper, then I do it in Google Docs. Like yung moments of torment ko always began on paper. I have notes of those. Tapos I put them in docs, then I do them, then I post it.
Sobrang nerdy talaga ng mga answers pa natin ni Breno. And I started, I can't live without pen and paper because that's where my torment starts. Jesus Christ, the existential dread coming from this single person. Okay, thank you, Brad, for your existential dread. Kristen, you raised your hand.
Oh, wait. Mag-on ka. Um, is my camera on or no?
Okay.
Okay. I present to you air.
My God, guys! Jesus. You guys are truly chaotic enough to tell air. Well, thank you for that very sarcastic answer. It's okay, fine. Fine. Or second, fine, bro. Present another thing.
May I present the human voice?
Look at my face right now and tell me if I do you think I'm amused or not.
Midway between yes and no, but not maybe.
Oh my goodness, ang sarcastic yun talaga. So, fine. Our next prompt would be bring me something that reminds you of something you extremely hate. Bring me something that reminds you of something you hate, or bring me something that you hate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's start with I'm going to pick a random person. Sean, sige, you. What do you mean by anything aesthetic?
Anything that anything that looks aesthetic has aesthetic. That's too much aesthetic. That is. I mean,
So, why
aesthetic
do
is
you
good
hate it?
enough, but if there's too much aesthetic, then that's when I hate it.
Okay, that's a very vague answer, but sure, true enough to debate, to the fashion of debate. I'll accept it. Anyone else? Let me pull up my list. Let's go with Cheska. Ikaw. What did you find that reminded you of something you hated? Okay nang maghanap ng charge.
Hi! So, ito siya, yung bullet journal ko. Kasi dyan nilalaman lahat ng requirements na yung dahilan ba't di ako maka-attend ng debate. So, ayun.
Wow, okay. Ayan, may creative na answer na tayo. Sige, thank you, Cheska. Next, we have... I'm gonna choose... Aiden. How about you, Aiden? What is something that you have with you right now that you hate?
Uh, I have this pen. Do you see it? So it
Yeah.
reminds me of kasi what do you call this? I went to my grandparents' house once, and before she died, she gave me this pen. This is
Mhm.
and I have this. She gave it to me because she was gonna, may pinapabili siya sa akin sa silista ko daw sa papel. Tapos when I came back, she already died na. Nagkaroon siya ng heart attack. And I saw the ambulance. That's it.
Okay. The, okay, so first of all, condolences, Ethan. That's such a sad story. Oh no, oh my god, that went from 0 to 100 very quickly. So yeah, so no, thank you for sharing it with us, and thank you for being so vulnerable to tell us, virtual strangers that, and hopefully you come to a point where you don't hate that pen anymore. Well, maybe for now you do hate it, but maybe in the future you might not. Okay, so next prompt. Bring me if last round was bring me something you hated. For this round, bring me something you're passionate about. Bring me something that reminds you of something you're deeply interested in, something you're deeply obsessed with. Okay, countdown starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, does anyone want to volunteer as to sharing with everyone what are they obsessed with? What are they passionate with right now? Sige, Carrie, go.
So I have my ukulele, which reminds me of how much I love music.
Oh, that's cute. That's so cute. What kind of music do you like?
Taylor Swift.
Okay, okay. So she's a Swiftie. Any Swifties out there? Any Swifties in the audience? Okay. Marami tayong Swifties. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else who wants to share with the plenary? What are they passionate about? Sige, Thea. Go. Ikaw naman.
Mine is also about music, so I got my albums because I like performing arts a lot. And yeah. Thanks for checking.
Sige. Anyone else who is holding an item that is music related? Or anyone else who wants to share something else that they're passionate about? Let's call someone. Alexis, how about you? What are you passionate about? Hello. I'm gonna assume that sige, carry na yung chat. It's fine, it's fine. Sige. While we wait for Alexis's answer, anyone else? She color pencils. Yes, arts. Anyone else who wants to share what they're passionate about? For me, it's an old elementary sketchbook since it reminds me of how much I love drawing, and it also has all doodles from me and my friends. Oh, that's such a cute and wholesome thing that you keep. I honestly keep my sister's sketchbooks as well, even though she tells me that it's all ugly when I no. It shows progress, it shows growth, it shows that you're doing well in your craft. Okay, so thank you for participating in that very medyo awkward and medyo unprepared icebreaker. But I guess it's better than comparison to Brad's icebreaker of this weird humanoid thing. So anyway, so yeah, like just as I mentioned, today is just going to be a very informal and very your pet. Jesus Christ. Well, so as I mentioned, we're just going to have a very informal session on how to improve our debate training. So it's not going to be super serious. Nothing, you know. We won't be having super serious material today. It's really, as you mentioned, kwentuhan lang. It's very informal kwentuhan. And I might, I'll move around their Airbnbs, our house tour. For, I could also go at the balcony if I want. Pero ayun. So, okay, so I guess first, just to get a initial glimpse of what you guys think about debate society on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate debate society as a whole right now, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest? So you could put your answers in chat. I might be biased pero 10. Oh, okay, good. Mabuti naman. Bruh. You can you can like I advise you guys to be very openly honest about this. Na parang even if like there's a tiny thing you want changed, I want you to answer 9 or like 8 or 7 or 6 ganon. So parang uh the question is rate from 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. How would you rate the debate society's current setup and training right now? As in, like, if you're gonna say 10, it means that I'm not gonna change literally anything with what we're doing right now. Okay, 10. Yeah, the fun time learning. That's great to hear, Aiden. So, Angeli's 10, 10, 10. Sure kayo? Lahat 10? Na parang walang magna 9? Or na parang stir the pot a little bit. Parang 9. 9. Sa tingin ko 9 or 8. 8. No, okay, Zyrix, that, 8. Good. 9 out of 5. It would be 10, but Kuya Bra's motivational stuff. So hindi ko so hindi ko kasalanan na 9.5 yan. 9, okay, good, good. So, so there's a general overarching census from almost everyone that, ano, all of our debate sessions have been at least on the positive side, positive side. So I'm extremely glad naman na it wasn't as low as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yun. So, bayan, Brad, panira ka talaga. 1. Sige, defend your answer, Brad. Ba't sa tingin mo 1? Because no one appreciates my motivators because they're not motivators. They really aren't. So you can't call them motivators if they're not, well, motivating. So, anyways, so okay, I'm glad to hear that. So I'm glad to hear that. For the most part, it's nines, tens, nothing. Well, aside from Zyrek, who says that it was an eight. So ayun, so good. So I'm going to go run down different aspects of the organization, from the organization structure to training, to debate moderators, to the coach even. Um, and then possible avenues in the future. So, right, ano, I should make a dev support check. Yep, you should. So, thanks, Brad. So, yeah, note that. So, okay, first question is, okay, how would you rate? This is going to be a bit harsh to Braille, but like, how would you rate Braille as as your current DevSoc president? On the scale and on the same scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. 8 out of 10, Sean. Oh, ooh, drama. Ooh, Brian, narinig mo yun. No, no, just kidding. So, anyone else? So, ayun, like, what? Really? 10. Okay, geez, oh my god, I got scared for a bit. No, I got scared for a bit. Anyone else? So, anyone else? How would you rate Brian as a club president? Mm, like it's okay to give an estimate muna because well you literally only saw him for 1 month pa lang, so you really don't have much to judge. So I feel like the the how you would the questions I need you to ask yourselves is: one, is Brian effective at sharing information to the organization? Is he effective at organizing debate meetings? So ayun, so those two questions. Is he like uh, is he is he good at info dissemination, and is he good at organizing these debate trainings? Okay. So let me just run down through the people who did respond. So Sean, why did you think that Braille is an 8 right now? And areas of improvement for Braille? No more motivators. It's okay to be super candid here, okay, guys. Especially with me, you could be very harsh at criticizing me because well, I'm the one who's mostly talking all of the time. So I want to make sure that I'm making sense at least. Because he needs to stop his creepy pictures. See, Brian, the only issue for you to become a perfect 10 is that of your creepy pictures. Well, Zyric says you're a 5, but it's Zyric, so I'm not gonna. So, we're not gonna consider his opinion. He's good. Because you're in a car right now, sabi mo, wag kang tawagin. It's not that I think you're biased, but you couldn't answer right now. Unless you could unmute yourself right now in the car and give your opinion. Okay, go ahead. Why do you think Brell's a 5?
Basically, motivators, ang creepy, di ba? Tapos, dagdag mo pa yung, yung pag-rap niya. Tapos, dagdag mo ulit yung motivators. Yung motivator, sabihin natin, 3.5 of the score. Tapos, yung 1.5, yung pag-rap niya. Di ba? Okay na yan.
Okay. Thanks, Eric. So yun, Brell. So the major consensus is that the the way forward is that number one, yeah, I think you definitely should speak a bit slower because as much as I could hear and listen to what you're saying, not everyone else could. Nagiging Eminem ka talaga. So, and ayun, also less of the horrifying and scary motivators because it is not motivating anyone. As you could see with the recorded session with that weird lost person na natakot ako and shit. So, it was not motivating at all. So, okay, that's good. Okay, now I want you guys to like push it. Like, I want you guys to be very honest with this. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate me as your current debate training coach? And the questions I want to ask specifically is, am I are my lectures clear? Are ano, do I explain concepts clear enough? Do I make things very simple to understand? Because like I'm really like nag-overthink ako parati because I always think that the concepts may sound too complicated when I try to describe it to you guys. Oh, that's so cute! Like, wala talaga, kahit 9. Sakura, oh my God! 11 daw, sabi niya. Sabi nila ni Aidan and Sakura, 11 daw. Cute ninyo. Thank
You
you.
make things a lot easier, kuya.
Oh, that's sweet. Sige. So, okay. So, that just means that I have to continue that certain quality of presenting information where but incomparable to Lolo Renz. But incomparable, as in Renz was different in a sense. Oh yeah, yeah, I'd agree. Me and Renz have very different styles of teaching debate. How would Renz teach debate ba? Because I was
Napaka-weird ni Kuya Renz natin mag-teach ng debate dahil kasi yung first na in training namin, yung orientation, doon in-approach niya na ako, do you want to competitively debate? Na in retrospect, na parang sobrang early noon. Na
mm,
first time ko pa lang, then nag-ano na siya. Tapos, it tends to be a bit rambly. Walang
mm,
cohesion between the meetings.
mm. Okay, okay. Sige. So I guess that's something also that I have to keep in mind. Make sure that everything is cohesive and everything is still logical. Kasi ayun, the reason why I'm also delaying some of our sessions is because I want to make it slow enough, especially for our newcomers, because almost everyone in our club right now is our new members, and they want to take the time to make sure that everyone's on board because um, I believe it's a disservice if we're leaving someone behind in terms of our training. So I don't want that to happen. So ayun. So I guess just I'll be asking very specific questions now regarding with training. So, in terms of speed, do you guys think that the lectures we're having are too fast? Or do you think that mayroong previous session that could have been elaborated more or could have been explored more?
Did we cover the closing positions last time?
Oh no, not yet. Next session pa siya.
I thought next session was the debate.
Yeah, our last session was introduction to parliamentary debate. Pero we've only discussed speaker roles pa lang. So, general speaker roles. We haven't discussed opening and closing position roles yet. We tackled it a bit, but we haven't explored it in its whole, which I feel like needs an its entire session because it's hard, because it's BP. It's harder to discuss in one session. It's hard to squeeze it into one session lang.
Okay, thank you.
Sige. Anyone else who thought that that some sessions needed to be elaborated more, or maybe like you guys want to revisit them again? So just to recap, our session so far is number 1, why do we communicate? Number 2, logic and reasoning. Number 3, an introduction to argumentation, and then on introduction to parliamentary debate. And what else? Ayun naman. Parang yun so far yung pinaka sessions natin. So logic and reasoning, communication, and introduction to debating. Did you guys, which, sige,
The logical
Ano, sige.
fallacies po.
What about it? Did you find it particularly easy or difficult na medyo to follow? Okay. Good.
Average.
Good. So what no, for you, what made it average in that sense? What could have made it easy?
Para siyang nagigets ko siya na medyo may parts na hindi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ano, feeling like hmm, feeling ko naramdaman ko din yon, especially when we were doing the conjugation, yung tipong if A then B, and if A is to C then B is equal to C. Parang feeling ko
Yes, that part.
para yun yung nagpa-complicate nun for I feel like yun yung that's why I was super tried to spend more time talking about it because alam kong it was the more complicated part of that lecture. Pero feeling ko, the most important component naman of that module, I don't want to say module kasi alam kong nati-trigger kayo, pero yun, module is that, yung logical fallacies talaga. Making sure that you're not, having incorrect steps in logic naman. So yeah, as long as you guys have, as long as you guys learn that step-by-step process of proving something, that's already okay with me. Like, hindi nyo kailangan, pag mag-argue kayo, hindi nyo kailangan if A is equal to B, and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. Like, you guys don't need to do that. Ang kailangan ko lang is for you guys to understand that there's a certain sequence to how you argue. So, yun naman. Pero thanks Kyle. I'll try to emphasize it in our future sessions kasi we'll still have a session on advanced argumentation, which will take 2 sessions altogether kasi advanced talaga siya. So, yun. Sige. Yes, Kyle.
Kuya, is sophistry connected with debate? Sort of, ganun. Parang medyo may touch of debate.
Okay, so if I'm remembering correctly, so yung sophistry that you're mentioning right now is related to the so-called sophists of Greek philosophy, where these
Yes po.
these are usually for everyone's information, sophists are Greek philosophers that travel from city to city, and what they do is they create sort of like lectures for everyone. So they move around city to city, and then they have students, and ayun, so these students follow these sophists around, and usually these are like ang impression sa kanila so far from historical records is that they're rich cishet guys who like have nothing else to do, so they're wandering around Greece. So ayun, so yung naalala ko lang kasi with sophists is that they were arguing about medyo actually unrelated siya about the debate, pero what they were talking about for sophists is what is the world made out of. So different sophists argued different things. So for example, Thales argued that the world was made out of water. Everything is made out of water because he lived in the island of Crete, and Crete was surrounded by water. So he thought that, well, maybe everything is made out of water. So parang ayun. So, di ba? So parang wala talaga silang magawa sa buhay. Kaya nila naiisip yung mga ganitong
Nag-overthink na lang sila, kuya, parang ganun, kahit dahil wala silang magawa.
Right. So ayun. So, and then Anaximander thought that the world was made out of earth because, well, earth. Like, ayun, he was in an island, so earth. And then there was, who was it? Heraclitus. Heraclitus said that everything was made out of fire. So parang nagiging avatar yung mga sophists kasi ayun, puro elements yung pinag-uusapan nila. Heraclitus said that everything was made out of fire because everything changed. And fire was sort of like the symbol of like change because it always flickers, it dies, it burns again. So parang ayun. So sorry for the rant, pero ayun, just to answer like Kyle's question. Pero ayun. Sophists. Ayun. Anyone else who has like back to the original question. Was there any session that you guys found particularly difficult? Anyone can raise their hand. So, wala naman. So, medyo like okay naman yung pace ng sessions natin. Okay, that's okay, the last meeting. Sige, Zyrek. What did you find difficult about the last meeting?
Ano, everything. Hindi ka lang ingay. Basically everything, di ba? Dahil kasi pag wala kang maintindihan. So,
Right.
therefore, it's everything.
Sige. Alrighty, that makes sense. Sige. Next session, we're going to continue part 2 naman of an introduction to parliamentary debate. So, just to make sure, I'm just going to have a brief recap of it next session, just so that everyone who wasn't present last week will be able to catch up because important important yung last session because it's literally the foundation of everything we're about to learn for the next few months and years if you guys continue with them. So okay, anything else? Sige. Okay, next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the icebreakers? I know it sounds very weird for me to ask about it, pero the reason why I'm asking this is that sometimes I feel like the icebreakers, like they're fun, pero I want to ask you guys if it's okay for icebreakers to be fun and wala siyang direct relationship dun sa lecture, and it's just really me trying to make sure that fun yung devs off because that's I really don't I just find that making lectures fun is a better way to teach than to be super serious and to be super like always ganon. Because there's more to life than debate. Na parang as much as we are debating org, we also explore other things, not just debate. So ayun, 10. So are you guys fine na walang relationship yung mga icebreakers natin dun sa lectures? So reply yes or no na lang sa chat. Sige. Okay, good. So ang consensus is let's keep icebreakers and let's make sure that matutuloy pa rin ang chat and that they become prepared. Sige. Okay. That's good to hear because pinag-isipan ko talaga yung icebreakers natin. Except for today kasi naka-vacation mode talaga ako today. Anyways, so next thing I want to ask is the schedule this is the schedule of our trainings because I do remember that someone asked at the beginning of our sessions that they wanted to have trainings during Wednesday as well instead of Saturday. So that might explain as to why even though we're 60 people in TEMSOC, we're only having 35 people always in our sessions. So as much as it's a lot, like 35 is a lot. Like of course I still want to accommodate the rest of the people who can't come, who might want to prefer na Wednesday. So for you guys, like what's your do you guys want to keep it still on Saturdays, or do you want to have suggestions that maybe some days it's Wednesdays, sometimes it's just Saturdays, or maybe some other days? Or, yeah. So, sige. Type A in chat if you just wanted to keep it on Saturdays. Type B if you only want it on Wednesdays. Type C if you're open in the future to have it on either Wednesday or Saturday. So A, B, C. Okay. C, C, A, C, A, C. Sige, so for ano, sige, so for ano, so consensus is that no one wants it to be solely on Wednesday. So sige, we're going to scrap the idea na na our schedule will be moved to Wednesday. So I guess that also makes sense and is fair as well kasi we don't I guess that Wednesday is also your time to catch up with your other lessons and your other modules as well. So I don't want to take that time as well. So yeah. And also I have work, so I have to excuse myself and take a leave parate on Wednesday if that happens. Sige. So moving forward, we're going to entertain the possibility na maybe we could have it on Wednesday. But of course, we're going to consult everyone pa on their availability if okay sa kanila yung Wednesday or yung Saturday. Sige. So, nakaset na yung date of like uh, so it's either Saturday or Wednesday. So the next question is time. Are you guys how about time? Do you guys currently enjoy that we meet exactly at 2 to 4 p.m.? Or would you guys want it a bit earlier, a bit later? So ayun. So type A if you're already okay with 2 to 4 p.m. Type B if you have suggestions for any other time slot. Sige. 3, 4. Okay, Zarek. Sige. What's your suggestion? While everyone else types their B 3 to 5? Okay, so 3 to 5. Sige. Take that in mind. Sige, Zarek. Ikaw, what's your suggestion of like time for our debate training? Or baka di ko nakita yung chat. 3 to 5. Okay, sorry. So, it's either 2 to 4 or 3 to 5. Sige. So, So, since the majority is still that 2 to 4 is still okay, we have to know, we'll stick to it. But we'll just open opportunities siguro in the future if sakaling. Yeah, let's try moving it to 3 to 5 and see if better siya. Sige. Okay. Sige. What's the next thing that I had in mind? Oh, okay. This is more, this is an important question that I wanted to ask. Pero, are you, most of the, so far, all of our trainings has been online. All of our trainings have been lectures mediated by me or activities and exercises mediated by Braille. But during our like planning session together, some of the previous members suggested that we have activities that could be conducted offline instead. So instead of meeting online, we could have offline activities as well, such as perhaps like reading something or watching a video and then giving like a quick comment on a Facebook thread, or like sending a doc list of like arguments that they pre-planned. So yeah, so I just want to get your opinions on having offline activities. And the reason why I was a bit apprehensive at first about implementing it is, number one, I'm scared that it might be additional trouble to you guys because Kasi, um, well, one, you're already having homework, so I don't want na magkadagdag pa kayo ng homework. So that's one reason why I was like a bit, still careful of trying to think of a way for it, for us to do that. Pero yun, so ang naisip ko so far na alternative is that in the cases for times where I could not personally meet you on Saturday, I could send you guys an offline exercise that could be done within an hour. That could be done within um within siguro 2 to 4 of a Saturday as well. So ayun. So are you guys ang question lang naman talaga. So parang ang dami kong daldal, no? Pero ang question lang talaga is for cases where I couldn't um I couldn't attend to you guys and I couldn't train you guys. What would you prefer? A, do nothing and just wait for the next session, or B, have offline sessions to substitute ano, the online training, which will be submitted by anytime. Me torture them instead. Pwede naman, or sige, three options na updated na. A, do nothing. B, do offline trainings, like do offline exercises made by me. Or three, B, have training facilitated by Braille instead. So yeah, type A, B, or C. D. Ba't may D? A na. Ano yung D? Anong D kayo dyan? Abstain. Sige. I'll give you sige, just to what activities will sige, what activities am I probably going to ask you guys to do? Number one is I could ask you to matter load. So I would ask you to research a specific topic, and then I'll post something on the Facebook thread, and then I'll ask you comment 2 things you learned about this specific topic, and then just write it down in bullet form in the comments, and then ayun, that's done. Yun na yung exercise ninyo. Or another thing would be a cute assessment quiz of something. So parang just me assessing your current knowledge on certain issues and certain topics, which would not be graded. So, for example, if next week you don't have to say it like that, Brian. So, for example, if we're going to have a specialized training on art, for example, I'm going to give you an assessment quiz on impressionism or expressionism, or like name at least 2 Philippine artists and their artworks, or um, like name one fun fact about art that I probably don't know. I don't know. It's parang yun, parang it's sige. I guess we have to see, ang haba-haba ng question ko, pero ang ending is, sige, let's just see na lang, how it pans out in the future. And then, tsaka lang tayo mag-decide, because it's hard to decide if we don't have information about, well, what are we gonna do? Sige. Any other concerns? Okay, this is a specific concern to Brel. Brel, have you been in contact with Ma'am Mendoza recently?
Wala namang concerns na kailangan i-bring up with Ma'am Mendoza. So, no.
Sige. Do you, would you wish that you and Ma'am Mendoza had like a more what's the word? Not a closer relationship, but more of like, mas open. Ayun, mas open yung, yung dialogue and yung communication line. Ayun, mas open yung communication ninyo between you and Ma'am Mendoza. Or like, would you still prefer na yung current setup na you only bring her in when you have a direct concern that needs to her attention? Or would you want a more personal, chummy relationship with her?
I suppose parang it would be better if more casual, pero I have a preference towards slightly more formal. So,
Mhm. Sige. So we're going to still stick with the current setup na you're not you're only going to contact her if you have concerns. Alright. Sige. What else? Does anyone have any direct concerns that they want to raise right now, or questions they want to ask to me, to Brian, or to the rest of the plenary? Do they have any like hesitations or threats? Like, what do you think would will? Oh, okay, that's a good question. What do you think could threaten? Okay, that's a bad term, but what do you think could be factors to you guys being less consistent with training in debate society? And be very candid with your answers about this, because I know you try to find ways to try to adjust it so that everyone could attend naman. Memory, if I forget. So the top of my head is like classes. I feel like as much as possible, I want all of you guys to still attend to your academics and your classes. So make sure that when you enter the debate society, when you're doing DebSoc, but you still have enough time to do your ACADS, because don't want you gusto ko kayong pumasa ng UPCAT and ASET and all of the college admission tests that you want to go into. So yun, that's something to keep in mind. So what are possible factors, what are other possible factors for you guys possibly missing out on meeting with DebSoc? That's all the way. Well, thank you, Brad. Thank you for your continued support and patronage to the Debate Society. Anyone else? Ah, who here has? I remember that some people here have more than one org, an org aside from DebSoc. Can you raise your hands kung if you have more than one org? So an org aside from DebSoc. Sige. Carrie, sige. I'm in two meetings right now. Sige, sige, wait, let me, so, uh, oh no, sige. No, sige, let's start with Carrie, sige. How do you find, do you find that you could balance your time with DebSoc and your other org? What's your other org pala?
I'm in Tanan and Arts.
Mm.
I can balance them naman po, unless like there's overlapping meetings.
Mhm. Mhm. Sige. Ang nasabi ko naman, I think I messaged Alexis I think Alexis was the one who messaged me earlier about this, yung ayun, make time, as much as I want to be selfish and tell you guys to only attend them song, I always tell you guys to pursue things outside of debate as well. So ayun, as long as nababalance niyo yung all of your orgs, it's completely fine to me. Sige, sige, you Alexis, sige. How about you? How has been like your time balancing DevSoc with your other orgs as well? Sige, you're able to balance them. Okay, good. Sige. How about you, Thea? Ikaw naman. Kamusta naman yung pagbalanse ng orgs?
It's okay naman po, but I'm about to join a meeting ngayon.
Sige. Okay, good, good. Sige. How about you, Nicholas? Ikaw naman. Filipino Club. Kamusta naman? Like, are they active? And have you been able to balance naman time with Dabsoc and the Filipino Club? Kamusta naman? So far, yes. Okay, good, good. Sige. And lastly, Kyle, ikaw naman. Kamusta naman yung pag-balance ng Dabsoc and...
Actually, I don't have much problem since dalawa yung org ko. Like, I'm in badminton and debsoc, but badminton is not active eh. So parang debsoc lang ina-attendan ko. So
Ah,
I'm fine with the ano po.
okay, okay. Okay, so good. So parang good to hear naman that everyone who has more than one organization right now are still able to balance their their organizational needs. Ayun. So in the case that you guys, for example, need to attend a certain if they also have an important meeting, like by all means, please attend those meetings because like ayun, like in Devzoc naman, we're going to be accommodating enough to like we have recorded sessions naman if in case you miss things. So ayun, so don't take it against yourselves that you always have to attend Devzoc in particular. So ayun, explore the arts, explore badminton, explore Filipino. So ayun, like balance everything that you want to pursue. So ayun. Okay, so that's good to hear. So, other concerns. Okay. What are external fact? What are is this? Could I ask this kaya, or if it's too personal kaya? Uh, Sige, I'll ask it anyways. How's your current environment? In like, how is your current environment affecting like how you participating in our training? So for example, you guys aren't able to really like unmute your mic because perhaps medyo noisy yung house ninyo, or like like um, or perhaps it's a technology issue, like you can't really unmute your mic that often because the internet's not well, or like you don't have a functioning mic or anything. So like, does anyone have any like additional issues that may negatively affect their their participation in debate? Because if technology issues, no joke, I'm going to send you a microphone and shit just to like make sure that you can listen to me, listen to my voice. That's the, no, just kidding. Ang egotistical. Pero ayun, like, does anyone have any uh like additional concerns that might affect their might affect their their ability to participate in training? Because ayun, kasi like here's the thing, like as much as DebSoc is like is all about oral communication, I would still understand that there will be some of you that's still a bit shy to like speak up still. So yeah, so like if you guys still feel shy to like participate, like um, like you could always bring it, to attention to me, or you could like, or I could provide more opportunities where your responses will be done in chat na lang instead of like unmuting your mic, just so that I could accommodate absolutely everyone and we don't like displace anyone in the process. So yun, does anyone naging appropriate na yung thank you, Brad. But yun, like anyone, ayun, as I said, be very candid because I want to like this session is me trying to help all of you as well to adjust with online learning because it's a bitch. Like it's hard. It's really hard. So I'm trying to make it as as least painful as much as possible. So yun. So anyone who has any like concerns or like pressing issues that they want to like for us to address. So yun. Like no need to be silent. Does anyone or see or does anyone want to like raise anything, say something right now? Completely random. Remove the motivator. Remove the motivators na daw, Brian.
Change the motivators, I think.
Oh, change, yeah. I feel like
Make it more scary. Nah, I'm joking.
No,
we keep
Sean.
the, we keep the motivators. Let's just change it a little bit and not
Hindi ako
super scary.
nakakatulog eh.
Because I agree with everyone. I don't want to have a wanted poster staring at me for more than 1 minute. It's just creepy. So yun. Okay. Ito, may question ako about yung mga dinidiscuss nating debate motion so far. How have you guys, are the debate motions understandable? Oh, wait. Kristen has a question. You mentioned us having like math. Oh, no, no. Nilolobat na ako. You mentioned us having like material loading sessions. So like, when are you planning those? Because like we currently have sessions once a week. So, ang mangyayari is that we're gonna have specialized sessions for specific topics. So for example, we're gonna have a session on pop culture. So we're gonna talk about, for example, pop music, K-pop, the rise of the Hallyu wave, so called, um, like movies, Hollywood, because these are like very famous motions. Like they always often appear all of the time in debate competitions. And then other sessions on like environment, Philippine politics. Okay, sure, Carrie. Thank you for coming and thank you for dropping by. Thank you. So, ayun. So, ang usually mangyayari is that either we're going to have a matter loading, an offline matter loading session before we have that online discussion. So, parang that, uh, you know, the thing to say is that I don't want to give you guys both an offline activity and an online activity within the same week. So parang I want you guys to like parang if it's debate time, yun ang yung isipin mo. Like I don't want you to think about debate outside of like the 2 hours that we have because ayun, time is already limited for you guys here in debate society with other things. So yeah, I want to make sure that like it's not too troublesome at the very least. So mangyayari with offline training is that I'm going to give you specific topics to research on, and then on the following week we're going to delve into them more deeply, and then I'm going to ask you very specific questions, so and you can answer them. So parang siya magiging game ka na ba sort of thing na parang um, meron akong gagawin natin siyang sort of game show format yung matter loading sessions where I'm going to ask you specific questions and then you guys give me an answer and then whoever gets the most answers gets a prize and then I'm going to think about the prize yet ganon so far. Oh yeah, pwede ng Jeopardy. Yeah, sure, Brian. Like Jeopardy, basta mag game show format yung matter loading sessions natin, which will be fun and shit. So yeah, I should stop cussing. I guess because some of you might not be comfortable with cussing. So yeah, random. Anyways, anything else? Any last minute concerns or like last like things you want to bring up to me or to Brian or to everyone, or like positive messages for everyone in them. So you were cussing when I have two innocent children. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Zaire. Okay, so cursing, nagmumura.
Ah, okay.
Okay, anyone else? So anyone else who has like last minute concerns or questions they want to raise? If you guys have any like follow up things you want to address, you could message me lang or Brian. To me, will we have motivators in the future? Yes. O nga, may motivators nga, Brad, pero wag mong gawing
Kuya
scary.
Marky, you create the motivators.
Sige, fine. Yung icebreakers naman is different ata from motivators. So, ayun. What will we do later in the Halloween party? Ano nga ba yung gagawin ninyo, Brian? I might not be able to attend because I am going to dinner with someone. Someone special. Ayun. Anyways, so yun. Brel, did you have anything prepared for the Halloween party later?
Yes,
Ano
may
gagawin?
preparations na ako. Merong schedule, tapos PowerPoint of course, and music para appropriate. Na it
Sige.
will be, of course, yung scary stuff, pero also comedy, kwentuhan, things like that na appropriate for Halloween. Hindi lang scary stuff, pero things na should make your Halloween at least a bit more better considering na walang trick or treat or walang outing na pwede.
Yeah. My God,
It's
kung
also
F to
a team building exercise. That's my excuse for holding it. Official excuse.
kung F to F to, I would be like barging into your classrooms in an outfit and then throwing pieces of Kit Kat and Pocky to you guys. Where, candy here, there. Ayun. No. I don't know. I'm a debate mommy. I'm gonna take care of all of you children. Oh, okay. I have one question that I'm very curious of asking because ayun, do you guys appreciate the aesthetic or the graphic design of the PowerPoint presentations that I give, or like they're fine, or are they fine? Debate. Wait, what? I couldn't. Uh, and debate mommy should treat us on
And we
Yes, they're
created the
Canva.
menu.
Canva. Oh my. Okay, because I got concerned. Okay, so ano, just a quick background. Pero like Mom Mendoza asked me to present something for her class dati about tawag dito. Um sociological theories, introduction to sociological theories. Tapos she told me, use this PowerPoint given by the department. Eh, ang pangit ng graphic design. So, ayun, I just decided to make my own PowerPoint. So, ayun. Kamusta naman yung mga graphic design ng mga teachers ninyo? Okay ba sila?
No. I think one teacher, no name dropping, I think my classmates know naman na. One teacher uses, I think, like yung green na background, parang yun sa walls, na may ano-ano siya, pag tinawakan mo po yung hindi smooth, yung
I see.
ganon.
I see. Okay, so
It's awful.
so yeah, like Kirsten's right. Like bad, but they're trying to do their best. So ayun, like as a millennial, I just believe that great graphic design sends a lot to like makes your message clearer and parang and it's probably just me being gay, but yeah, like I like seeing nice PowerPoints. And also because I work in communication work, we do graphics, we Photoshop shit. Sorry, no
But
cussing.
for me, aesthetic is not for gender-based.
Of course, true, true. there's no there's no such thing as a male or a female aesthetic because clothes don't have gender. Jesus. Uh no naman, like we develop our own brand guidelines naman in our company. So we don't Photoshop people in without their consent. We put credits. We're responsible artists. Put credits. Anyways, any last minute concerns or questions? Because otherwise, we could actually stop here. Because it's just really a short session. Or kung gusto niyo na magkwentuhan or like mag-vlog ako.
Kuya Marky, I'm almost close to telling my teacher to use Canva. I'm
Maybe
at that thinking stage na.
Pero yun, medyo, the reason why I asked kasi is that it's also high maintenance. Medyo, not, like, it is a bit time consuming. Like, most of my PowerPoints take at least 4 to 5 hours to make because I'm trying to find the right shade of this, the right size of that. Pero, whatever. Canva's a lifesaver for people like me who don't know how to Photoshop. Sige, anyone else who has like last questions, concerns? Because otherwise, we could end here. Sige, Brea asks, how annoying are your subjects, guys?
It's not annoying, it's hard.
Can we ask questions outside of debating? Of course, there. We're open naman dito in Deb, so. What's your question? Oh no, I'm about to be low, but sige, oops. What's your question, Zayn? Sige, let me answer it in a bit. I'm just saving my dying phone. Okay. So anthropology is anthropology is the study of humanity, past, present, and future. So what do we mean by past, present, future? So what we mean by the past is that as you know, like we study human artifacts, we study human material culture. That's why we have archaeology. We study um, former remains, former materials used by cultures before, way back then. And then we also have biological anthropology that studies the evolution of mankind, and and primatology, for example, like of how primates branched out throughout the world's history. Ayun, so that's humans of the past, humans of the present. So ayun, like we study culture, we study language, we study we study like how different people have different cultures, different traditions, different beliefs, different values. So ayun, so it's super like broad. Like yun yung masasabi ko, like anthro is super broad. So um that's why I love it, because it's super broad. Like if you're someone who likes studying, like who has super very random interests, but you don't know what to study, then perhaps Anther is a good discipline. because everything human is everything anthro. So yun. Anything human is anthro. So yun. For you, Zen, what's do you have any specific questions about anthro that you want to me to answer? Or anyone else? Do they have any other questions, debate related or not?
I'm just gonna ask it on my maybe if I study anthro, is it not really a necessity, but does a master help in like seeking for jobs?
No, so ayun. So especially with the training of UP Dinaman right now of anthro, because anthro has four main fields. They have biological anthro, forensic anthro, wait, no, biological anthro, linguistic anthropology, sociocultural anthropology, and archaeology. So most of the time, especially since there's a shortage of anthropologists in the Philippines, it's not a super familiar and super popular discipline. That's why a lot of people find it um, parang ngayon lang nagkaka-appreciation of anthropology as a discipline. So ayun, that's why. So ayun, a master's helps, pero the thing about anthro is that it's super applicable to anywhere. That ayun, like um, that you could basically fit in almost any like discipline naman, like in any like workspace, as long as there's like a human element to it. For example, research, communications, media, and so ayun. And ayun, the thing about anthro is that ayun, since I mentioned that because it's super wide, it's super like you're talking about human culture and human society. You could pursue literally like a lot of things afterwards. So you could take up law because you have a good grasp on like human rights and humanity and human culture and human values. You could also take up medicine because you have a good foundation on biological anthropology. You have a good background on anatomy. So yun. So anthro is like since it's all about humans, it's super broad. So, so ayun. So marami siyang applications anywhere. So ayun. Ayun. I hope I answered your question unless you have follow-up questions. Or anyone else was. Oh, Ada. Oh, spicy questions. Kuya Marky, are you a registered voter? And if you are, who will you vote for president? So, sige. Just to... Oh, sorry. Nag-unplug yung charger. So, yes, I am a registered voter very recently. I tried, pumila ako as early as 3 a.m. As 3 a.m. to line up. Pero, so, yan. And, yeah, mahira. So, ang lesson of the story is, vote, register as early as you can. So, the next time na open yung voting and kaya nyo na mag-vote, mag-register na kayo. So, ayun. So, ayun. Well, first part. Jesus. So, ayun. Again, like, yeah, Brad is like, thank you, Zaire, for the preemption. Like, don't hate on me. Like, don't cancel me because I'm voting for the specific person and stuff. Pero, the person I'm voting, as of the moment, and it's important you caveat, as of the moment, because it's still definitely subject to change. Like, if you're a voter, make sure that you follow through the campaign period and allow yourself to change your opinions because that's what the campaign season is about. It's about changing your perspectives on someone depending on what their platforms are. So yeah. So as of the moment, the person who I have like the most aligned values and virtues is Lenny Robredo. So siya so far siya yung candidate that I have most aligned with. And also because I have worked with several partners with her before. So like I know her work ethic. I have experience of working with her team. They're really great. They're really results based. They don't take good for an answer. They really want the best. They're very like top quality. Very they demand top quality. So ayun. So that's why like I personally vote them because I have personal experience of like working with them and knowing what they stand for. But of course, as a responsible voter, we need to be open to like changing our opinions depending on kung ano yung pinapakita sa atin on like what platforms. So yun. So that's my temporary decision of who I want to vote as president as of the moment. Sige. Any other question aside from that? Any other questions? Otherwise, we could end here. By the way, when we're going, especially on discussing, especially discussing political candidates, no one should shame anyone here, no one should be shaming here, in depth, parang that's the biggest taboo. Like, don't shame someone, educate them instead, Like, don't go on a hate spree because someone has a different opinion with you. I mean, literally, we're debate society where our task is to convince other people. So yeah, opinions on BBM. This is how much time do we have? I wonder if you guys appreciate what I have to say about him. 34 minutes. No, no, let's not spend that much. Pero my opinions about BBM. Well, let's start first with the Marcos administration. Um, okay, just so this is going to be a hard conversation for some of you. Pero okay, I'm all for people who give credit where credit is due. Um, that's given. Like remember our conversation about truth that there are multiple truths that can exist at the same time. So ayun, so this is one of those examples of like there could be multiple truths happening. So yeah, like yes, like there were a lot of multiple infrastructure projects that were made. Yes, correct. That's true. But there are also other competing truths as well that are being constantly undermined by a lot of people. That, for one, there were human rights violences during the administration, and I have personally seen, interviewed, and talked to people who have been victims of the administration, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty listening to them. Just to be talked about, just victims of torture, of them being drowned, being bitten and being beaten by a gun, um, doing Russian roulette, like seeing their comrades being killed in front of their eyes. That's not a pretty thing to hear. And yeah, like it's a lot of people have said that Marcos was the golden era and stuff like that. Pero ayun, but when you look at the facts kasi, when you look at like cold, like neutral facts, uh, it wasn't really the golden age. The peso depreciated in value so much. We didn't reach a 1-to-1 conversion rate. That never happened. The lowest that we had was 17 17 pesos to a dollar, and that was like not from Marcos. And what and tawag dito? and like just experiences from different farmers, indigenous people that were displaced in different like areas. So like ayun, like parang ayun, like as I mentioned, multiple truths can exist. Like sure, like you may have had a very comfortable life under the Marcos regime. That's legitimate. That's a legitimate truth. But to say that the truths of other people have suffered is illegitimate. For example, those who have like who have been beaten up, who have been tortured, who have been like families murdered, people who are still missing up until to this very day. Like I just can't like we cannot move as a country forward if we cannot respect that history. If we cannot um, appreciate that there are multiple sides to the same history. So yeah, so that's why like I have a very negative view of the Marcoses right now, and like it's not helping that they're not taking accountability for it. Like I would more appreciate if the Marcoses just admitted that these things happened. Like I feel like at least that shows genuineness. It shows authenticity. That that they were conscious that they consciously knew what was happening, because you can't fake it. You can't fake that these things happen because they did happen. There are sources. There are multiple texts. There are multiple like interviews. There are multiple people who were tortured. Like my former political science professor had his son shot in front of him, um, like because he was a UP professor, because UP was like a creative activism, and like UP professors were being targeted by people, so they had to go underground. Like one of my anthropology professors, Nestor Castro, was tortured by the administration, and he like there were still like we saw pictures of him like in a cell. So like even like people will say na parang uh, you weren't born yet, so you wouldn't understand. But pero if that's the case, then if we were born, like the same applies as well. Conversely, if we weren't born yet that time, how could we confirm that those were true? Like as much as we can't confirm that they were false, we can also confirm it was true. So who do we rely on for that information? We rely on both the victims and those who survived. Those who survived in both sides, on the perpetrator side and those who were the victims. And there's just more importance of trying to maximize the voices of those who have been hurt, because well, like it's just intuitive. You don't They were the ones who history tried to erase, and whose voices are constantly unheard. Like they're there, but people don't want to listen to them because it makes them uncomfortable. And like I'm fine. Like it's fine if you're still uncomfortable about it. It's fine that you might be like taking some time to absorb that this might be new information. That's fine. Like don't don't allow yourself to not grow because it's making you uncomfortable. Like dwell in it. Like make sure that you learn something from it, then to like ayun, like like remember the quote that I showed you guys, that it's better to debate something and leave it questioned than to leave a question undebated, because there's so much multiple sides to history, and unless we can appreciate all sides of history equally, then we're bound to make the same mistakes again. So yeah, that's just my that's my general opinion about the Marcoses. And like after seeing and after hearing multiple like narratives and stories from victims themselves, it's hard to like not feel bad for them and not like ayun, so yeah. Yes, Brad, do you want to add something? Yeah, you want to add something.
Parang ano, when we look at yung age na yun, we may be a bit parang too emotional when we look at it kasi it's something na happened here, it happened to people that we know or at least people we can know of. Pero yung age na yun isn't special to the Philippines. The 70s, even up to the 90s, was not a good time for the world. Kasi not just Marcos, pero people like Marcos popped up in a lot of countries throughout the world. Say, yung Peru, there was Fujimori in the 90s to early 2000s. There was Videla in Argentina in the 70s. There was the military junta in Brazil from the 70s to 80s. There was Indira Gandhi in the Indira Gandhi na there's a pattern there na they're basically like Marcos. They're not really that different. Sa case ni Videla from Argentina, we have incidences where victims reported na people were kidnapped, flown onto airplanes, given the lethal injection, tapos their bodies were dropped on the beaches to the point na if you were on the beach in Argentina in the 70s, you would see hundreds of dead bodies on the beach. If you were in Peru, if you were under Fujimori's presidency, you would see a lot of cases, a lot of dead bodies, a lot of people na suddenly go missing. If you were under the age of Indira Gandhi, you would see people going missing, people being intimidated in the streets. Now, those stories are also applicable here. We have incidences like that. The people just go missing. The people who are very outspoken, people who were famous, gone missing, or something happened to them. Now, these abuses are not special to the Philippines, aren't even special to other countries. It was a trend from the 70s to the 90s. Tapos parang we could learn a lot from that. Dahil kasi those people rose from power because they blamed a lot of things. They gaslighted people. They gaslighted their own voters. Na they weren't there because they wanted to do genuinely good things. In retrospect, we know that they were bad people. But that's because we have the benefit of the doubt. We know what happened. We know what they did. So when we try to apply it moving forward, it's very difficult dahil kasi when we see people like Marcos, people like Videla, when they just rose to power, they made a lot of promises na people would genuinely follow dahil kasi they promised a better economy. They promised at least a less corrupt government. They promised better governance. Pero we know that that wasn't true. They didn't fulfill those promises. Mostly dahil kasi they never intended to. And that's not really something that you can tell in present day regarding the future. You can't predict if a person will follow. So parang the main way to prevent those kinds of people from popping up again is through vigilance. Before Marcos, there were people like him. Now there were politicians like him. He's not special just because he's from Ilocos. He's not special because he was the Senate president. He could have the other people could have been like him. There was not really anything significant to that. Other people could have abused power in other countries, friend, in other places, in other times. Pero we see the cases na during the time of martial law here and during the time of martial law in other countries, there was a trend. It wasn't just randomly that they popped up. They popped up in times when the people were suffering. The 60s was after numerous economic recessions. It was after World War II. It was after colonialism. Now we see people now use those narratives for their own devices. Marcos mostly ran on the platform of anti-communism, of going against the Americans. Fuck them. Ganon. Now we see people like Videla saying the government is corrupt. We deserve better as Argentinian citizens. The junta in Brazil was celebrated because people viewed them as overthrowing the corrupt formerly imperial government. Pero those narratives fail because they never intended to they never intended to fulfill that. Pero we can learn a lot from that. We can learn a lot from that based on how they did it and what they wanted to when they wanted to do that. Because if we were in that time period and we listened to them, we may be persuaded, pero we may have still some reservations. I support this guy, but he said some things na I'll overlook because he makes a lot of good promises. Na parang that's not a mentality we should maintain. We should be more critical of people, even people we support. Kasi these people also did good things. Na promises they did fulfill. Marcos was elected on anti-communism. He was very anti-communist. He was viewed as a unity figure. Pero under his administration, there were things like the Jabida massacre and such na didn't really work out for the better. Na truly na we should not be persuaded by promises. We should look at what they do, what they wanted to do, and how they actually plan to do it. The promises aren't everything. We should look at how what they're planning, how they conceptualize it. How do we know that they're gonna do it? How do we hold them accountable? Kasi Marcus really is not a special figure in world history. He will not be remembered as a dictator. He will be remembered as one of the many dictators of the 70s to 90s that preyed on the insufficiencies of government, that preyed on the many conceptions of the day, preyed on colonialism, preyed on fears of communism, preyed on fears of increasing poverty and recession. Now, we are in that age again. We are in the situation similar to what happened in the 60s and 70s, which led to those events. So we have to prevent that. And the best way to do that is to learn from history. Pero you don't learn from history na with the benefit of hindsight. We have to learn what actually happened in the shoes of the people who lived then. We should learn to be skeptical of the promises people make, and we should learn to hold people accountable.
Well, thanks for that very long, long but very relevant history lesson, Brad. I think, like, I guess the main thing that I want to tell all of you guys is that um, we don't want to view people as messianic. We don't want to treat people like gods that they cannot be criticized. So yun, the parang, ayun, like the main thing that I really want to like drill, uh, the main thing I want to like teach you guys is that, ayun, like parang question things. Like it doesn't have to mean that you guys will immediately change your minds within one day or like 1 week or 1 month from now. Like it's a long process of like you changing your opinion. It's not something sudden or abrupt. So ayun. So like ayun, like Brian was right by saying that we should always be criticizing anyone, even if they seem good, like or have good intentions, because that also applies to me as well with like Lenny's candidacy. That's why I emphasized temporarily, because I still have questions as well with her economic policies because she wants to open the market and have free trade, which has historically been proven to be economically damaging to some extent. So ayun. So even if I may be supporting someone, that doesn't block me from giving like that avenue and that space to also openly criticize that person, because that's what debating is all about. It's all about making agreements on certain things, but there's also a level of disagreement that you can't possibly agree about every single thing all of the time. There should always be that space for you to allow yourself to be wrong and for you to correct other people when you think that they are wrong as well. So yun, so if you guys, so if anyone here thinks that they want to vote Marcos, that's completely fine. But me, Brad, and some of us here just think that there needs to also we have valid criticisms against Marcos and they should be taken into consideration. Pero yun. So yun, like that's just like the main driving points that ayun, don't treat everyone like they're a god, that they can't do anything wrong. So yeah, have that conversation with yourself to know when are they right, when are they wrong. So yeah, because no one's perfect. Like everyone can get cancelled to anything. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? Like medyo napahabol bigla yung session natin because of this like history lesson. But and does anyone have any remaining question, concern, clarification? Dan, you messaged me just now about yung ayun, if someone could still join, yep, they could still join. Just send them an invite sa group, sa FB group, sa group chat, and then, ayun, have them sign the registration form. Anything else? Any other questions, concerns, clarifications? Otherwise, we could end it here. I have mixed opinions about resort. Again, always question the people that you're ano. Always question the people that you like. So policy wise, I know I enjoy resort Barros. Like I feel like ideologically, she's very consistent with principles of being not them. She's very she is very pro worker, pro women, pro pro LGBT. So I like her principles have been very consistent. But the reason why I have certain hesitations working with Visa is that I have had past experiences working with her team, and let's just say that it wasn't quite pleasant. So yeah, so mostly like my reservations for her are personal, but as a public figure, I enjoy her. But ayun, again, echoing what I said earlier, if if come campaign she says something that I disagree with, know that I'll be tweeting or like telling other people and having dialogues with them. Do you agree with what she said? I don't agree with it. So yeah. Depth stuff is about having that space to like talk to other people. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How could we discuss it in a respectful manner to one another? Anyone else who has other questions? Last minute questions before we adjourn this meeting. Or Brett, do you have anything to say as we adjourn? None? Okay. So that concludes our weird and random monthly assessment. So expect that we'll have another one of these. Maybe not next month, but maybe siguro 2 months from now by the end of wait, December yun. So pagbalik ninyo ng January, ganon. So parang ayun. So we'll have these regular monthly assessments to assess how our org is or how our club is. If you're enjoying something, if you're not enjoying something, like use these avenues to like to tell the to tell what's bothering you, what's working, what's not working. So yun. Monthly kasi naman like not ay, basta fine, let's just call it club assessment. Let's not call it monthly assessment. Club assessment na lang siya. Para walang pressure na maging monthly. So, ayun. But that doesn't mean that if we're doing this by month, like once in a while, it doesn't mean that you can't message me or Brian if you have any questions. So if you have any immediate questions you want to ask us, just ask us now. So, ayun. Anything else that you want to raise before we formally conclude? Nine? Alright. Well, with that being said, we can go. So, for everyone else, I hope that you guys enjoy the Halloween party later. I might not be able to come depending on if I'm available or not. So, Brian, good luck in organizing that later. So, ayun, like, take the time later to have fun. And if you're gonna record it, I'm gonna watch it and then I'll probably laugh about it. So, laugh and like wish that I was there. So with that, we can formally wrap up and conclude the session. So thank you guys for coming as usual. Thank you for being so active, and I'll be seeing you next week. Next week, if I know. Yeah, next Saturday. So okay, bye guys. So you may now formally dear.
Goodbye.